We now own over 4,000 shares of ULTY. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Isaiah, and in this video we're going to talk about how we made over $233 today selling options, as well as how we got to our 4,000 shares of ULTY. If you're new to this channel, this is an income generating account where our goal is to collect at least $600 every single week through selling options and collecting dividends. We sell cash secured puts, which means we're agreeing to buy a stock for a predetermined price, and we sell covered calls, which means we're agreeing to sell a stock for a predetermined price, and then finally we collect dividends from ULTY. So let's jump over to our trade history so I can show you all the option premiums we collected today. Okay, here we are in our trade history. So let's take a look at what we've accomplished today. So the first thing you see at the top is we sold a put on the $12 strike for TSLL. I want to walk through that real quick. That means we're agreeing to buy the stock TSLL for $12 by September 12th. And because we agreed to do that, we got paid $63. We did the same thing with Peloton. I don't know if you've ever used those Pelotons. They're pretty awesome, so I use them. I don't mind owning the stock at the $7.50 price. We sold 2 of those contracts. We got paid $40 per contract, a nice $80. And then finally, the last thing we did is we sold on this cannabis ETF, MSOS. First time I've ever played it, but I've been interested in it. $4.50 strike. 2 contracts, got paid $45 per contract, giving us $90. That's a pretty awesome payout. Again, between these 3 payouts, we collected $233. Our goal is to collect $600 every single week, so we probably won't make any more moves for the duration until Wednesday, because Wednesday they'll announce our ex-dividend day, and I'm going to show you how we have now 4,000 shares of ULTY. But before I do that, I want to give a shout out to the Premium General. There's 6 members in there: Andreas, Simple Flow, Dan, Nat, Hector, and GG. And what we have going on in there is we have private videos going deeper in depth, explaining selling options, and those videos will continue to come out multiple times every single week. And on top of that, we're talking about trades, things we're getting into. And then when I made my ULTY moves last night, they heard about it. So love to have you. Premium General's $10 a month. I also have a Fiverr course. I'll put the link for that in the description. And that's for a little bit more one-on-one in-depth training on selling options, help you build your own option stock list that you can sell cash secured puts on and covered calls on. But with that being said, let's jump back into the video. So, as I said, we're trying to get $600 this week. Every week we've hit it now 31 straight weeks. It'll be a 32nd week if we can hit it, which I'm sure we will. We've already collected $233 in options, and now we'll find out on Wednesday how much we'll get paid in dividends. This week we do have 2 dividend payers. We have MSTY. We only have 56 shares there, but hey, if they pay $1, then that's 56 bucks. We'll see. But the big one, ULTY, we now have 4,005 shares. And I know I've talked about multiple times where my goal was to get to 3,000. Well, I've decided that if I'm investing for income, which I've said this a couple times, invest for income and invest for growth. Don't pick one ETF or stock to do both. Find what you can do in terms of maximizing your income, and then find which ones you can use for maximizing your growth. Don't pick one to do both. So for maximization of income, I want ULTY. And here's what I did. I made some big sells last night and into this morning. I sold the rest of my YMAX. Where is that order? Right there. I sold all my shares, giving me a little over $6,000. I technically was up on that position. I never reinvested any dividends, so capital erosion, I was down about $2,000. Dividend payments, I was up $2,500, so my net profit was around $500 on that position. Actually, I think it was more like $300 on that position, actually. And then MRNY, we did take a loss on that stock. I was owning it around $5, and healthcare just never came back for me. Paying 10 to 20 cents per month on a $2 position, I decided, you know what, it's just time to cut that loss there. So we did make money on YMAX. We lost money on MRNY, which is okay. I mean, we're making $600 a week. We need some sort of tax write-offs there. We can take a loss here and there. But yeah, so ULTY, 4,005 shares. New current average is $6.06. That means if they pay for 10 cents a share this week, I'll get $400. And what I want to do with that $400 as of current day, obviously I changed my mind so quickly on stuff like this, but I'm looking at SMCY, and I'd love to be able to buy $400 worth of SMCY as my primary, or $400 worth of Coney as my secondary. I think Coney is very viable in that position. Let me know in the comments below if I made a bad move on that ULTY position, or you like what I did in terms of trying to put all my income generators into one spot. And again, to reiterate my reasoning behind that, I invest in these funds for income. And I feel like by having some in YieldMax and some in MRNY, I am limiting my income. So I'm going to put them into ULTY. That being said, I don't plan on dripping more than $50 to $100 a week at most back into ULTY. I mean, I still might drip $50 here, $100 there. We'll see. But I'd like to start growing out some other payers for my portfolio, because this is an option selling account. It's one of those things where I don't actually own barely any stocks in this portfolio. Take a look here. You see all these options I have open. These are all options. So I barely own any shares of any stock. So when you pull down to ULTY, it makes it look like it's 85% of my portfolio, because again, I don't own anything. This is an income generating account where selling options, like I said, is the best way to generate income. My personal opinion. You're able to diversify yourself. Look at all these different funds I'm invested into. I'm getting paid credits by them. They're outpacing dividends using less money. But I like the combination of getting the high-yielding dividends with these options. So that's kind of why I have them together. But always remember, my trades are my opinions, and they should never be taken as financial advice. So just because I'm making a trade, do your own due diligence. See what you like about the company, sell your own cash secured put, or invest your own money into it. This is my investment journey, and I'm glad you're a part of it. It's a fun one as we continue to generate income from this account. The big thing I do want to reiterate on when you're investing in these YieldMax funds is, if you are invested and you're using it for income, you can't be discouraged when the stock price goes down. They're paying out their gains in the form of dividends to you. So when the stock price goes down, you can't focus on that. You need to focus on the income you're getting from the position. Now, if you were invested in a growth stock and it continues to go down, that's when you want to pay attention to that share price. At least that's what I do. Again, personal opinion, shouldn't be taken as financial advice. But with that being said, we're at $233 for the week. We only need about $400. Well, we need about $367 to hit for the week. So we'll find out how much we're going to get paid out in dividends. I don't expect ULTY to pay 10 cents for the 7th week in a row. Doesn't mean they won't, but, even if they don't pay around the high nines, I still have the $50 buffer or so from MSTY, depending what they pay out. So I think we'll probably hit our weekly goal again by Wednesday without having to make any more moves. But only time will tell. We'll find out what happens Wednesday. Tomorrow, I plan on buying like 1 or 2 shares of ULTY. I do want to still do small daily buys. 3, 4, 5 shares, however many. By the end of the week, we'll see how many I get purchased. Like I said, I want to continue to do daily buys so that I'm still investing into that fund and growing that dividend payment. But the vast majority of the payouts from them are now going to start to go to other funds. But with that being said, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll see you in the next one.